What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. Watching my back, as always, you know him, you love him, El Flaco Explosivo, the Alexis Arguello puppet. We're back with another banger of an episode. The most amazing and real boxing conversations right here. Legends, luminaries, champions, and fighters on the come up all come here to chop it up with your boy Reckless Rex. Today is no different. We got another great episode, but when don't we? The undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast right here. Best content on planet Earth. I can't speak for the other planets. Don't know what the aliens are up to out there. They might have some dope shit going on too, man. But here on planet Earth, I'm confidently claiming the title and defending it. And my guest is here, so we're going to get down to it right now, man, and let him in here, get down and chop it up. Let's go. Albert.
What's going on?
Hey, man. Hey, listen, man. Hey, first of all, good to see you, man. Thanks for doing this, man. I always like catching up with you, man. One of my favorites, man. And
sure, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Of course, man. And so the next one is April 12th.
Yes, sir.
Now, I got to ask you, man, as a fighter, man, like what it does to your mentality when, like, I go on BoxRec and I see opponent to be announced. Is that anything that worries you, like when you don't know, like a certain amount of time out, who your opponent is, or do you already know?
It really don't affect me that much, as long as but we got a couple guys lined up. We just seeing which one makes the most sense, you know what I mean, far as what we're trying to do. And it don't really worry me that much. I know we have somebody in there that's credible, you know what I mean, with a good record. That's what I'm looking for, the guy with the best record or best potential or background. So I'm just having them sort all my team sorted out and try to give me the best guy available.
And because you're obviously always staying in shape, obviously, you know, this is what you do for a living. You're in the gym, you're sparring, you're staying sharp or whatever. Is ring rust enter into it at all? Because it will be a little over a year by the time you step foot into the ring. Is it anything that's in the back of your mind, or you just feel like you just stay sharp?
No, I feel like I'm sharp, you know what I mean? Once I get in there, it all, you know what I mean, once I make the adjustment after the first round or whatever the case may be, or getting in there, it all come back. Just like riding a bike, you know what I mean? But I haven't been getting a lot of rounds because the fight before my last fight, I got a first round knockout. The fight before that, I got a second round knockout. And the fight before that, I got a fifth round knockout. So ring rust could play a factor, but I ain't too much worried about it. I should be all right.
And so before we get back to talking about, you know, the stuff I certainly want to ask you, like, about your career, but I want to get your opinion on some of the topical shit going on right now. Obviously, just subjective. This is just, you know, your opinion or whatever. How did you see the Tank and Roach fight going? And obviously, it looks like today, currently, what I'm reading is New York State Athletic Commission is choosing to uphold, like, what was called. You know what I mean? So it looks like the draw is going to stand. Nothing's going to be reversed or changed. But how did you see the fight?
I thought it was a good tactical fight, like a good chess match, inside fight. I had Roach winning the fight though. I had him.
I did too.
I had him edging out the decision even without the.
Me too.
Without the point, you know what I mean. I just thought he had a great game plan. He stayed on the front foot. He always was responsive every time Tank would do something or hit him with a shot. He always fired right back. He was mentally locked in. He stayed paced and calmed and controlled the whole fight. And I thought he got stronger as the fight went on, as far as down the stretch, started stringing his combinations together. And just, he was there. He was present the whole fight. I thought he did enough to win, but I know how boxing works, you know what I mean? And so in that situation, the draw is a win. And far as the New York State Athletic Commission turning it over, I really didn't think they was going to do that. That was a long shot, but I definitely feel like he deserved to win the fight, and he should have been awarded for the point.
And now, what are you thinking if you're in that neutral corner, man, and like you see Tank take a knee and you see a referee start to count, man? In your mind, you know, does that need to be scored a knockdown?
Yes, 100%. You know what I mean? But Tank got power. You know what I mean? He shows that you know he's his influence. You know what I mean? It's like Michael Jordan type stuff. You know what I mean? When he talked to the ref and got his call overturned, that's what it reminded me of. I haven't seen it in boxing. You know what I mean? Even times these guys that clearly slipped and the referee start counting and the guys arguing their case and they just keep them fingers going and they score. So, but yeah, I definitely never seen nothing like that though. Far as a guy take a knee and the referee start counting it, and then the guy talks him out of it. You know what I mean? And then you can't be assisted by your corner at any given time in the fight. You know,
Yes.
and you can't walk away and start. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It was a lot of weird stuff going on, but they continued to fight, and it was a good fight. But I definitely thought Lamont picked the edge of the decision out.
Yeah, and speaking to your point, I mean, like I think a few people were foggy on that rule too, man. But yeah, somebody can be disqualified if a handler or somebody from your corner even steps up onto the apron like that.
Yeah, I seen it even in the amateurs. Unexperienced coaches trying to assist a fighter because they've seen something step up on the corner, and the guy was winning the fight and got the fight disqualified because of the mistake of the trainer and things like that. But it lines them up for the rematch. It's going to be very anticipated, so probably do better on pay-per-view than the first one, and it's definitely going to bring a lot of people out, and they got a chance to do it all again and make a lot of more money.
And now let me ask you this, man, because you were just alluding to, Tank having power, and I think you were talking more about not his punching power, but so much his sway in the business or whatever. You know what I mean? And obviously, I don't think it's something we should shy away from. Obviously, there's still dirty parts of every sport or whatever. So, speaking of that, I kind of like you to tell me in your words why a guy like you, and you certainly are ranked, Ring Magazine as your number 10, 12 in the WBO, 14 in the IBF, 13 in the WBC, undefeated guy, but still lots of guys with losses, multiple losses ahead of you in the rankings. And like, why no title shot, man, in your words?
Politics.
Yeah. Speak on it. Absolutely. I agree with you, man.
That's 100% what it is. I can't really, because every reason that they say why, it's always some BS behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They say I haven't fought other ranked contenders or whatever the case may be, but how can I fight them if they won't fight me? If I can't force nobody to fight me, every time someone asks me, anytime a big name was offered to me or a guy that had a top, whatever, they would say no. So I would just keep working the rankings and get to where I think with something to be ordered, and then once I get there, they're not ordered anymore, or they denied. They denied. So last year, me and Archie Sharp agreed to fight each other. I was number 1 in the rankings. He was number 3. They denied us for the interim fight when Navarrete went up to 35 to try to get the 35 championship. So in the meantime, they're gonna have an interim championship. We petitioned to fight for that. They denied us. Then they turned right around and let 2 and 4 fight for the interim, and the winner of that fight got the title shot. So then when the game back boiled down to me still being number 1, they said they can't order and make someone fight me or whatever case may be. So it's just confusing. But I was just over it. I feel like the guys at 35 would be more willing to get in the ring with me and take some chances. You know what I mean? So I just focused on making noise in a new division because, like you said, I'm at number 12 in the WBO, and just a few months ago I was number 1. Like, how does that even happen?
I know.
You know what I mean?
And you don't even take an L. You don't even take an L and you drop. I mean,
And from that drastic, I didn't even know that. You just told me something new. From 1 to 12 is
well, these are the current rankings that I have in front of me. If BoxRec, and they have been known to make mistakes from time to time, but I've been
I believe it though.
I've been honing them on them pretty regularly now to get information. You know what I mean? Like for my bullet points here or whatever. And like Ring Magazine still has you 10.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like if you're a fighter, man, like what's considered more coveted, to be recognized in the alphabet organizations or the Ring Magazine?
To be honest, it's all confusing.
It's all bullshit.
As far as you know what I mean? Because the magazine, they try to put it in. So they're gonna have the guys with the belts probably 1 through 4.
Right.
However, and they never fought each other, so I don't see how you really rank them probably based off resume. Then the other guys kind of just mixed in, you know what I mean? But I'll be looking at those rankings. This is guys I know I smoke or that I'm way better than or things like that. So I really don't pay attention to that. Like far as I just wanted to be number 1 and get the championships by the alphabets. But the route I took was the WBO route, more so and it just didn't work out. So I'm pretty much over it. The president of it spoke on it a few times. He spoke on it today, actually, on Twitter and Spaces. They're asking about me and things like that. And it's always the same round of legal terminology, reasons on why, which is all BS at the end of the day. So
I imagine that's frustrating too, man. It's got to be frustrating to you.
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? Being that considered a contender, a top contender for so long. You know what I mean? Hold number one spot for over a year. But even just being in that discussion of a title fight since 2019, that's when I first was offered to fight for a world championship. When they first hit me to fight Jamil Heron, that was back in 2019. And it just still never materialized all these years later. So it's just time to. It's just disappointing because I don't like finishing. I mean, not finishing what I start. You know what I mean? I started out in a weight class. I wanted to win a title in that weight class before I moved up. But hey, the cards fall how they may. And it's just time to move up and just see what 135 brings. There's some good champions up there, some good contenders up there. And hopefully we can just make the best fights happen for my career at this point.
And now, if you were still a super featherweight, the IBF, if this is confusing me, has you ranked at number 14, but they have but right now the title holder is vacant. You know what I mean? How long, for people that don't know, who are on the outside looking in, how long does something like that stay vacant? And like, why aren't ranked guys already being made to fight each other and have a champion emerge? Like, you would think an alphabet organization would want to have its organization represented by a champion.
Right. To be honest, I really don't know. Something just came up with the IBF probably about a week ago. That Matchroom had hit my peoples about fighting Raymond Ford on Jerron Ennis co-main event on that card coming up, and they said the winner of that will fight for the vacant IBF against somebody. You know what I mean? We accepted it, but we never heard nothing back. And I was already scheduled to fight on the same date, so we didn't hear nothing back. So we wasn't going to dwell on it. So we just had to stick to our regular scheduled programming, and that was to me to make my debut at 135. But something it's funny you brought that up with the IBF because something recently just surfaced about that.
And so this fight on the 12th will be your first foray at 135?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and so for you, I mean, like not knowing like how comfortable your body is at certain weights or whatever, what other weight divisions can you see yourself exploring? Would 135 be your ceiling? Can you go beyond that?
I believe I'll go higher than that. What I mean? Probably 140 for sure. You know what I mean? Like I'm 6 foot plus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could, I could definitely fill out. Even though I make weights comfortably, I still could see myself filling out as my career goes on. Who knows? Probably even 47 when it's all said and done. It all depends on the opportunities and the timing of things.
And now, obviously, speaking on jumping up multiple weight classes, just again a subjective question. Where do you rate the chances of a guy like Bud moving all the way up, presumably to 168, which looks like it's going to happen, and fighting Canelo?
Bud's a special fighter. You know what I mean? It's just he's going against another special fighter that's big. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But I learned not to doubt Bud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just that type of guy, and I know he's very strong. I really would like it at 160, being that Canelo has moved when he was champion in 4 different weight classes at one time. So I believe he still could make 160 if he wanted to, being that he started out at 47 and stuff like that. I would like to see them meet halfway instead of Bud just having to take the whole full jump to 168, being that he only fought one time at 154 to jump 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. I would like them. He go up a weight class, Canelo come down a weight class and fight at 160.
Yeah.
But we shall see. They say it's going to happen. So I believe it's happening in September.
Yeah.
So we gonna see, but I definitely would have liked it at 160.
I keep hearing the same thing, man. Like when fighters come on here, dude, the general consensus is, nobody's counting Bud out, and then most fighters are actually saying if there is a fighter out there that could do it, it would be Bud because, as you alluded to, he is special, and he's one of the guys out there that could pull something like that off.
Right. So we gonna see, but I'm definitely rooting for him and backing him.
And now that you're moving up into 135 and hoping to make some waves there, man, like, if you could put your promoter's hat on and in a perfect world could make some fights up there, who are you eyeballing any fights with? Who's impressed you? Anybody particular in your crosshairs at this point?
Not really. I want champions, man, or some guys that's in the top ranking that'll get me a champion. I mean, any of the top like contenders up there.
Yep.
Any of them, you know what I mean? And I'll be happy to face any one of the champions, you know what I mean? So, like I said, it's a lot of opportunity at 35. There's some good guys that don't have world titles yet. That's in the rankings. That's good names. And then the champions are all great names right now. So, 35 is loaded.
And
So
now,
like I said, it's a lot of opportunity and a lot of promise at 35.
And now you being 26-0, and coming from super featherweight, you know what I mean? Like, does that record and that, that reputation, you're an undefeated fighter, like when you come up into 135, man, it's not really about having to do a lot of proving yourself, right? You should be able to step into that division and instantly kind of command, great fights because of your past body of work.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. But that was my plan to win that's what I was gonna do anyway when I won. If I would have got my title shot opportunity, my goal was to win the championship and then vacate with the title, and that would have put me at number 1 in that sanctioning body in the next weight class.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to do in anyway from the jump. But now, probably I entered the rankings when I make my debut. I'm fighting for a regional title through the WBA, which is the Continental Americas. So that should put me somewhere in the top 10. And then we just go from there. You know what I mean? Get another fight this year, or if I get a call, I'll definitely answer it. You know what I mean? So we just gonna see.
I find it disheartening, man, like to see a guy like you, man, 26-0, an unblemished record or whatever. And like you do see guys, like it used to be the norm. And I go back a ways being in my 50s or whatever. But, when you had to have quite a lot of fights on your resume to even command a title shot. Now we're seeing guys like we just saw Keyshawn Davis. He's got a WBO belt. He's 13, 14 fights into their career. We're seeing guys, getting belts with very few fights. So you must feel after racking up 26 wins, man, that you are, more than overdue for some type of a shot.
Yeah, but I understand how it goes because, we got an Olympic background. Like if you medal somewhere in the Olympics, they're more than likely to get your title shot quick. That's just how it goes. But yeah, I feel like I'm long overdue for sure. But it's all God's timing. I don't try to get too bent up or have my head down about it. I just try to stick to what I'm doing. And, if it happens, it happens. I'm just going to keep putting the performance on that I put on and keep just showing up and proving every time that I step in the ring and keep answering these calls when they ask me to fight these guys and say yes and put it on them, to put the pressure on them to take the fight or not. But, I definitely believe I should have been at least had an opportunity to fight.
And now, I don't know if you saw this a couple weeks ago, the WBA was just kind of tossing around the idea of possibly returning to 15-round fights. Where do you stand on that? I think they were talking about trialing it with possibly championship bouts, unification bouts, undisputed.
Yeah, I think they said something like for undisputed fights and stuff like that. I think that's cool. Like that'd be dope. Like if it's for all the marbles, why not? You know what I mean? And I feel like that take away the kind of the possibility of a draw.
Yeah.
In those type of fights, so somebody's gonna be an undisputed champion at the end of the night. I think that's dope though for undisputed fights. I think that'd be a dope addition.
I think one of the hardest things to being a fighter, and I've been saying this more recently on here, I'm fascinated by the fact that, a lot of the physical attributes you can certainly be taught, how to throw a jab, how, you can footwork, a lot of that stuff. Many people are blessed with it naturally, of course, but the mental side, I think most people's immediate reaction is to want to not be in a confrontation, to not fight somebody. And I think we automatically tense up and find it hard to not have anxiety or fear or whatever. When did you notice that you could get a handle on the mental side? Because I feel like conquering that is probably a bigger obstacle than a lot of the physical attributes.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. I've been doing this since a little kid. You know what I mean? I come from a boxing family, so boxing is all I know. Like even before I was able enough to go to the gym, they used to have us all at family gatherings, putting gloves on and boxing cousins to entertain adults. You know what I mean? Just how I grew up, sparring my cousins and stuff. So I got good in the amateurs immediately. So I just always I don't know, like. But then the pros, you definitely have a different mindset and mentality. You know what I mean? It's just you got to keep your emotions and mental in check because you could be in tip-top shape, but if you're too emotional coming out, you could snap your energy like that. You could miss the shot. I missed that shot. Now you think, the crowd getting to you. I got to do this. Like it's just
right.
I just like to be real relaxed. Like I feel like if you're relaxed and composed, you can fight all day. You see stuff better. You finding shots better. You seeing more openings if you just relax and compose. And that's just how I always taught it. You know what I mean? Just like a fish in water. You know what I mean? Just go in there and swim.
And now at 26-0, I'm sure a lot of people would look at your career and look at the success you've had in the ring and say, You know what I mean? Oh, he's got a great handle on this boxing thing, man. I mean, like, you know, how much more could he possibly learn on the sport? But do you still feel like you're learning stuff and growing? And like, what's current stuff that is something that you might put an emphasis on and say, you know, I got to sharpen this part of my game up even more?
My thing is always how to. I feel like I'm always getting better, but right now it's just really about placing these shots the right way.
Yeah.
And getting these results I've been getting. I want that to continue, and then I'll always look better to look for getting better in far as my defense. Always, even though I'm a very defensive fighter and elusive fighter, I always try to find ways to even how can I do it with using less energy. You know what I mean? What can I do instead of stepping this many times back? I could have did this, or I could have slipped this way instead of. Or I could just put my hands right there and I have to move my upper body so much. It's just a lot of things that I go through mentally that I always want to make myself better. And I always try to find different ways to put mental pressure on a guy to break them down without actually having to fight them. Like not fight them, but like go in there and engage a lot to get them tired and where we in the slugfest or wear a guy down, but how to do it mentally. You know what I mean? I picked that up through camps with Lomachenko because that's what he does a lot of that. He does a lot of
good guy to learn from.
Yeah, so I start implementing that, and I like the results. So I always try to find more efficient ways to do that too, without burning so much energy. How a lot of times he does a lot of stuff like that. I'm like, how can I get that same result without that much effort into energy? You know what I mean? So I just be trying to find different ways and stuff from to better myself, whether it's mentally or just different things to break another fighter down mentally and take their tank without doing so much.
And now you are certainly known as a tactical fighter. I mean, out of your 26 wins, you know, 9 knockouts, but your last 2 fights have both been knockouts. Have you done anything special? Oh, your last 3. I'm sorry, pardon me. Your last 3. I want to give credit where credit is due. If it's 3, it's 3, man. And so what's changed? Obviously, and I've talked about this on here ad nauseum about how it's still a black eye on the sport, how we still do see, unfortunately, some shitty decisions, some crappy scores or whatever. Does it have anything to do with not wanting to send stuff to the scorecards? Is it something you've conscientiously worked on? Because it seems like this string of knockouts is not typically what you're known for.
No, it's not that. It's just about they always got something to say. You know what I mean? Bell's a special fighter. He can box, but not exciting. He doesn't knock the guys out or whatever. So now I knock the guys out. It's just really always want to give the answer of what's the excuse now.
Right.
They say this, they say that. He moved. So okay, I'm gonna work on this and come back and do this. Now I'm doing this. What's the excuse now? Why I'm not getting these? You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. And because I feel like I can outbox anybody. Like mental for IQ, mental. I feel like I can box with the best of them. And I always have. You know what I mean? I've been in there with top fighters around the world forever. You know what I mean? Whether it's camps, through the amateurs, through training, whatever. I never been in a situation where I didn't hold my own ever in my life. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to matching wits for wits in the ring. And then just credit it to my hands being healthy. I always had bad hands. If you can see that around my wrist right there, like right here. I got my hands together and now I could punch confidently without it being in the back of my mind that because your body, your defense mechanism is always to protect yourself, whether you know it or not. You could think you about to throw it hard, but your body is subconsciously pulling you back or you worried about it. So now I'm able to punch through my targets how I want to and really not have to worry about it. And really, when I hurt a guy, don't have to step back and say, I hurt my hand. Let me just finish it and coast it out off my jab. Now I can hit the guy and go get him. And it's been showing up. Like I knocked my last 3 guys cold. I was like you know what I mean, like highlight type knockouts. And before that, I dropped the guy. I didn't finish because he started getting dirty. Once I heard him, he started headbutting me a lot. They took 2 points from him from that. So I had to be careful. But ever since I went to see the hand doctor, I've been able to do what I need to do in that ring, and that's finish the business.
And that's got to feel pretty good too, man, because again, getting back to that, I don't want to keep on beating the shit out of a sport that I love so much, man. But, I mean, seeing those awful scorecards and like, another super featherweight champion, O'Shaki. I mean, we saw his belt taken from him last year and he almost pitched a damn shutout, you know what I mean? And they still took his belt off him. So, I mean, it's always interesting to say the least when it's going to go to the cards,
Right, for sure.
You do really never know, you know what I mean? So it's got to feel pretty good. That it's probably pretty reassuring though, man. I mean, dispensing of these guys and not going to the scorecards.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's just it gives you a rush, you know what I mean? It lights the crowd up, knockouts do sell. I never argue with that, but you know what I mean? It shouldn't overshadow a win though. If you were good and that's what you do, stop that person from being good at that. You know what I mean? But it's definitely a rush though. I don't argue with it, and it's a shorter night of work for sure.
I like having a guy like you on here, simply so that I can reiterate the point that I try to make, to fans out there who might be watching this, though. You know what I mean? Like you made a good point earlier about, the knockout sells, people love to see the knockout or whatever, But the fact that it's not your calling card, and there are other fighters out there like that too. Shakur Stevenson's a guy who immediately comes to mind or whatever. People forget at the very core that boxing is the art, Floyd said it best, of hitting and not getting hit. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, man, we do see a lot of guys at the end of their career who have taken a lot of punishment, and it doesn't fare well for their physical health. So, I would urge people, I guess that would be my caveat in this conversation, to really appreciate what guys like you and Shakur do, man, because what you're doing is really the art of boxing. You know what I mean? And like, as I think that it should be defined, rather than just two guys going out there like Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, which sure, as a fan, we love. Two guys out there slugging it out, trading punch for punch, bleeding all over each other. But I mean, at its core, I think you would agree with this, man. That's not boxing, though. Really?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's fighting.
It's a fight. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's definitely you want to be able to read to your grandkids and things like that.
Right. Right.
When you know what I mean, and talk and have conversations how we have it right now.
Yeah.
And just health, you know what I mean? Then you later on in life, we find out about all the CTEs and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, people are shitting all over guys like Shakur and everything. Oh, it's not a crowd-pleasing style. Nobody wants to watch it.
What we do actually is harder to do than what
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, boxing is hitting and not getting hit.
It is. Yeah.
It's just a sweet science. That's what it is. It's art. And and most people can't do it. So it takes special fighters, and them the ones that last the longest, the defensive fighters. You know what I mean? They have the longer careers, they have the longer jeopardy. And they the ones that get the jobs of commentating and being all that stuff because they can still talk and have their faculties intact.
Yeah.
So hey, it is.
Don't shit on these. Yeah, stop shitting on these artists out here.
Right,
come on, man.
Right.
It's artistic what these guys are doing. It's a high level of art. You know what I mean? Like it is. And so for the rest of 2025, this is your first fight, obviously, in over a year. But I imagine you don't want your foot off the gas that much now that you're coming to 135. How much more active would you like to be? Ideally,
I would like to fight 3 times this year, possibly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Probably. So we got the first one in April. Try to get back up in there probably June. And then see what comes after that. Hopefully, in the third or fourth quarter year. But I'm definitely want to get in there 3 times a year. This year to make up for lost time. Last year was a weird year for me. There's a lot of stuff going on in the division with the title and this and the layoff. So we want to just get right back to it, pick up the ball, and just keep keep it in our court and keep it going.
What was the impetus, for fans that might not know, behind this year layoff? I mean, were you just kind of frustrated, disenfranchised with the way things were progressing?
No, it was just like, Navarrete got granted the super champ, so he ain't have to fight a number one or mandatory for years. So then when he did come back down, they screwed me out the interim, and there was just a lot going on, you know what I mean, that I couldn't control. You know what I mean? I was doing my part, staying active and maintaining my position at number one to get the opportunity. So when he come back down, and then they just like threw something in the game, threw some salt in the game. And then I was supposed to fight in October, and the card got pushed back to December. And then when you get to December, the whole card got canceled.
Canceled,
so
right.
It was just it was a lot. Oh, then I was supposed to fight in September as well. here in the city on the top rank card with
Right.
Jared Anderson. He's supposed to be main after the co-main here in the hometown, but he ended up taking the fight with Bacoli.
Yep.
So they top rank scrapped that whole card. So there's just a lot going on behind the scenes
Yeah.
I didn't have control over.
Out
So
of your
now
control.
we got that all past us. It was just a weird year, you know. So now we're looking forward to get this 25 rolling. I want to fight at least 3 times this year.
And realistically, and I don't know how much this has come up between you and your team, but realistically, you know, we just talked about you coming to a new division, you know what I mean, getting ranked, getting a couple fights under your belt. But realistically, you know, for fans of what you do, when would you like to see yourself in line for a title fight? Is it more realistic 2026?
I mean, it all depends. You know what I mean? I know once you get in the rankings, when you're in that top 10, you get a call at any time, you know?
Right.
So I really don't know. I could fight this guy and be the number 8, and then I could get a call from one of the champions or whatever. So I really don't know, but I will be ready whenever that time comes, whether it's 2026 or 2025 or next. It don't matter. So I know something soon.
And now
I'll be ready.
And now there are obviously, I'm trying to think of who specifically, you know, obviously a couple of them come to mind, but when you're jumping into 135, man, there's obviously multiple guys holding belts there, man. But, you know, aside from yourself, obviously, when you come up to 135, in your mind, who's really the big fish there? Obviously Shakur has a WBC. Obviously, we see Tank still holds his belt. I'm kind of losing focus on who the other champions are up there, but I know that
Lomachenko and Keyshawn is other.
Keyshawn, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, who do you eye as kind of like, you know, the face of 135 right now?
Tank for sure.
Tank still, okay.
Yeah. He the big name in the division. You know what I mean? He's the superstar.
Right. Do you feel like when you see a guy like Roach have a performance against him like that, man, you know, fighting tactically, fighting very much, I would say, more in a style of what you and Shakur do? You know what I mean? Lamont's not really known as a huge puncher either. You know, does that make you see Tank in a different light, like where you say, okay, man, he has vulnerabilities there, man, against a guy with a high boxing IQ, man. He can be. He can be.
Always see it like that with guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've been seeing these guys fight, you know what I mean, since kids. So we didn't see them win. We didn't see them lose. We didn't see the styles they like, they don't like.
Right.
But I think it showed more so to the world that what vulnerabilities and stuff they have. But fighters always see vulnerability in other fighters.
Right.
You know what I mean, that they might get in a ring with. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how I feel about it. That's how I look at it. That's how I view it.
All right, so I'm throwing it out there right now, man. Fucking, let's get a matchup with the Prince and the Tank. What are we waiting for, right?
God willing, man. Well, any of the guys, though, man. You know what I mean? Any of those guys, I would like to fight.
Is there any personal animosity towards anybody at 135? I know you're really not that kind of guy, but is there anybody up there that really rubs you the wrong way, or you just looking at your business and getting belts?
I ain't got no problems with nobody.
Yeah.
As long as nobody got a problem with me, I don't got a problem with them. You know what I mean?
Listen, man, I'm really looking.
I'm a supportive gentleman at the end of the day.
It should be exactly. I know, man. We've kept it gentlemanly. We've talked about how how artistic it is when it's done at the highest levels, man. So listen, man, I always appreciate catching up with you, man. I wish you a lot of luck on the 12th, man. Obviously, stay in touch, man. We'll do this again for sure.
Oh, for sure, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Always appreciate you, man. Best of luck, man. Stay safe in there, man.
Yes, sir. Always.
All right, take it easy, man. There he goes, folks. Albert Prince Bell, who is no longer super featherweight, moving up to 135, a division that is absolutely loaded, a division where you should have no problem finding big fights. And really, Albert Bell should not, because his resume and body of work, 26-0, an unblemished record up to this point, man. Stepping up into 135, a title shot for him in some division somewhere. God almighty, let's make it happen. Does this guy not long overdue for a title shot, man? As you heard, the political side of shit, didn't get what he was looking for through the WBO at super featherweight. Fingers crossed, man. He's one of the ones I really enjoy watching, man. Just a true technician in there, man. And I hope he gets his big fights at 135, man. They are long overdue. He fights again April 12th, an opponent to be announced, man. But as you heard, they're looking at some guys right now, man. So wish him a lot of luck, man. He'll be doing his thing, man. 3 straight knockouts. 3. I said 2. Albert said 3. I'm not going to argue with him. 3 straight knockouts, which if you watch Albert Bell and can appreciate what he does, is not typically 26-0, 9 knockouts. It's not really his game. He's more, as I said, the technical, the tactical type of fighter, man. But just watching what guys like him and Shakur do, boxing fans, let me urge you to really appreciate these guys, man, while they are here. Don't get into that tunnel vision of you got to see a slugfest. Every fight's got to be Gaddy Ward. Every fight's got to be 2 guys standing there trading blow to blow. Because as passionate about this sport as I am and how much I love it, it doesn't fare well for these guys post-fighting career, man. So appreciate what guys like this do, man. Obviously I know the knockout sells. It's like the home run in baseball. People jam in there because they want to see blood, mouthpieces flying, dudes getting knocked fucking silly, man. 10 counts, this, that, guys getting dropped multiple times, man. Sure, it is a fight. But what these guys do at the highest level, and Floyd said it best back in the day, boxing, and he might not have been the first guy to say it, but this is true, though. It is the art of hitting and not getting hit, folks. You know what I mean? So what these guys do is really, truly the art and science, the sweet science, man. So really appreciate what these guys do, man. Dig in and really watch what they do on a high level. Don't just dispel this as a boring style of fighting, or this is not crowd pleasing. This is not pay-per-view worthy, because, well, watching people play checkers is a lot different than watching people play chess. You see the level of intellect and IQ involved, man, when you're watching guys play chess, man. Certainly don't dispel how great a fight would be between a Shakur Stevenson and an Albert Prince Bell, man, because what you would see would be high-level, tactical chess pieces being moved, man. True diehard boxing fans will know what they'll pick up what I'm putting down for sure. So hope you guys, that's my spiel right there. And I'm going to leave it at that, man. I love what Albert Prince Bell does. As I said, 26-0, 9 knockouts, super featherweight division, no more at this point. Moving up to 135. His first fight there will be April 12th. Find out where you can watch it, dude. Get on the Googles, tap in. Be resourceful. You'll find it, and tap in and support what he does, man. And definitely a guy that I enjoy talking to, man. So hope you guys dug that episode. As I said before, make sure to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. That's first, man. Updates on new episodes, who will be on those episodes, and any other pertinent boxing news, upcoming fights, fight results, predictions, analysis, any pertinent news, anything that's popping off in the boxing world. I'll keep you guys in the loop. And make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel. And let me once again say thank you to Albert Prince Bell, man, and wish him a lot of luck April 12th on his upcoming fight. And remind you guys that you're watching Off the Couch Boxing, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast, man. I defend that title. I take all challengers, man. And I remind you before I go that if you want to be a champion, you got to keep it right here, man, and roll with the champs. Peace.